Okay, welcome to another Miracle Monday where Mom and I have everyday conversations. We might have been on Zoom for about an hour now having conversations before we hit record, but our intention is to share these conversations with whoever listens and hopefully it inspires or helps in some way. So here we are on this holiday Monday, but everybody will listen to this after the holiday. Okay, so hi.
Hi.
So I thought today, just based on some conversations that I've had with different people, friends, clients, like just it's been a topic of conversation, um, mother-daughter relationships, because it seems as though a lot of people have challenges in their mother-daughter relationships. And we're so blessed, like how our relationship, you and I, my relationship with Maddie and Julia, your relationship with Maddie and Julia. And so we're so blessed, but you also didn't come from having that kind of relationship with your mom. And then we did it different. And I'm assuming you're the common denominator in that. Um, you know, and then so many people have so much pain in their relationship. And so I don't have a plan for like what our conversation is going to be like, but I feel like if we can maybe like sort of dissect how we do what we do, or think about the challenges that other women do have with their grown children and how we might be able to support them in some way with our way of thinking and how we do life and all of that. So that's my thought without having a clear thought.
Okay, good. Well, then lead it. Lead away.
Okay. So, I mean, I guess my first question would be, you know, how do you think we ended up having such a beautiful relationship? I mean, I guess there's two things. One is a foundation that was set, but I do think a lot of the women that I know that have challenges in their relationships now. I think they too set strong foundations. Like the women that I'm thinking of in particular, I know they love their kids very much. I know that so it's not about that, but something is happening in the day-to-day interaction as an adult, like as an adult with an adult child. Um, yeah, and I just wonder, like, okay, so I have a thought, and I'm just going to ask you. Like one of the things that I see is women, not all of the women that I'm thinking of, but some women really wanting their children to do life like a certain way or to do certain things, and I think that creates um a challenge because it's no longer their life to dictate. It's like when we have little kids, we control their every move, we control when they eat, when they go to bed, who they play with, when they play, when they, and then at some point we let that go and they're their own human being living their own life, making their own choices, and we really have no say in that. Um, and so when you've watched me live my adult life, I'm sure you haven't agreed with every choice I made. But like you've never corrected me on my parenting, told me that I should do it different. Like you've never, I don't know if it's judged me because I don't want to say that women are judging their kids, but like somehow you've let me be me and you stepped away from like the mom role of expecting me to do life a certain way and you stepped into being just like a support system for me.
Yes, and you have a question or
Did you
something?
do that on purpose? Did you knowingly do that at some point? Like, do you know that you did that?
I honestly don't know that I did anything like really purposefully. And I know this is crazy, and I've probably said it 20 times on these talks we have. The thing that always comes to my mind is remembering back to when I decided that I wanted you and Brad to know that I was there for you no matter what. And
Yeah.
I think that played out in all different scenarios, all different ways, but I think that underlying decision, like it was a deep decision
Yeah.
that, and I don't know that I knew what it meant or anything, but I wanted you to know that no matter what you did, and I remember these words, like no matter what you did, you knew there was somebody behind you supporting you. And
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the only thing that I can say I can consciously remember.
Hmm.
And maybe because I didn't feel supported by my mom, she couldn't, her life wasn't easy and whatever, again, me, I can't be bothered to talk about those
Yeah.
kinds of
Yeah.
things. But the point is I remember feeling very alone because she wasn't there. When I was on my own with you and Brad, and you were little, and I was totally on my own. And I can remember her saying, us talking, and me saying to her, or we talked about her supporting me, and that something to do with my stepfather, that she couldn't support me. But then, so we talked, and she said she promised that she would be there for me. And then at some point, I needed her help, her support. And she said, I'm sorry. I know I said I would be there for you, but I can't. So I don't know whether those things impacted me in some way. I honestly don't know whether that, because of how alone I felt, maybe I just didn't want you to ever feel like that. I honestly can't tell you. I
Mm.
really can't. I don't know. Like, I think it does go to beliefs and decisions, so that therefore then your behavior matches your beliefs and your decisions.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I don't know.
I'm curious, like if I'm thinking of two women in particular right now who have um, grown adult daughters who are mothers.
Yeah.
And they have a really hard time with how their daughters parent.
Okay.
And that I think creates a lot of friction because so I'm thinking of a client right now, and I'm thinking of her with her adult daughter, and where our conversation was around like when her daughter parents in a way that, like gets angry at the kids, that she feels the need to like jump in and rescue the grandchild and feels bad for the grandchild that the mom is getting mad, and might very often correct the mom and say you shouldn't have done it that way, you're hurting her, or like that kind of thing. um and that creates like this inner turmoil where we had a conversation about that it really isn't her role or her job anymore to tell her daughter how to parent the grandchild. I'm thinking back to you. You would have witnessed me lose my patience with the girls, and your response would have always been, and I can't think of any specific example, I just know this. It always would have been like to support me, honey, you're so exhausted. Or like, like you never would have said, don't parent your kids that way. That is going to hurt them or hurt their self-worth, or you know what I mean? You just never would have done that. So and again, I know these moms love their kids, but there's something about the way you've parented me as an adult where I know you haven't agreed with my every move, my every decision that I've made, but you've always supported me and you don't parent me anymore. And I'm wondering if that's where some of this conflict between mother daughter comes from, because I even feel that way with Maddie and Julia still lives here. I don't
Mhm.
feel like my job anymore is to like parent them and tell them right from wrong and how to live their life. They have their own journey, they have their own life. They're gonna like make decisions that are gonna create pain, and then I will be there for them when it does, but I'm not here to tell them not to do those things. Or so there's something in that that I think you have done where I never feel judged by you. I never, and I know, like, without, I know that there would be things that you would not like do the same as me, but never would you say that to me.
Because it's none of my business. I don't think it's any of my business. And I trust you as, as a beautiful human being, and you know what you're doing. And it just because it isn't how I would do it, I don't know what to say about it. I just wouldn't, I can't even imagine telling you you shouldn't say that or you shouldn't do that or
But I
so
really think that that's a key to it.
okay. What?
Like, I think that's a key to it because it allows me, like, I want to be around you because I have a support system and I'm not worrying about you judging me or telling me that I should or shouldn't do something. And I do think that a lot of the pain that comes from mother-daughter relationships is that we don't let go, or they don't let go of the idea that it's still their responsibility to make sure that their kids, like, there's a time where it's no longer a mom's responsibility to be doing that. There's a time where it is, and then there's a time where it isn't.
But what if also, so what if you do, view something that you think isn't right? What could you, this is my thought.
Yeah.
What, what, what could you do or say to the child and or the daughter in support? Like you said, if I said something like, you're so tired or, you know, like how can you step into support realizing that there must be a problem within the daughter to be interacting that way. So how then instead could you help the daughter? What could
Yeah.
you do or say in a positive way? Not don't do that, but is there anything I can do to help? Is there anything that would make this easier? Is there anything, you know, I think again, it's which way do you approach a problem?
Hmm.
I don't know. Does that make any sense?
It does. I mean, and it does. And I mean, I said this to you briefly before we hopped on. Like, I feel like we need to figure out, what and how we do it different. But I do think that there's a way that we could support mothers and daughters, because I believe everyone that I know that has these challenges, I know the question is not about love. Like,
Yeah.
I know that all of the mothers love their daughters so much. And so it's not about that. And I also believe that they laid a foundation of like love and care and all of that. I think I think the way you do it, in like you said, where it's none of your business, I think a lot of moms have a hard time thinking it's none of their business.
Yeah. And the jumping in, I mean, if somebody needs help, the jumping in is fine. But is the jumping in to make the person wrong, or is the jumping in to find out how you could help them so that they aren't doing it the way that you don't think is really a great way?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it doesn't mean that you don't do or say anything, but it's from support, not from judgment because you don't think it's, well,
You didn't have to, you could finish your sentence.
I don't know. I saw you, so I
Well, no,
stopped.
so I'm just thinking again, it's like, so when you would look at me, because I know, like, especially when I'm assuming when the kids were really little and life was really challenging, or like teenage years when it was challenging. I mean, I know I lost my temper on the girls when, I never would want to, obviously, but I would. Um, but you never looked at me and judged me. I'm assuming this. I think I know this, but like I'm trying to figure out what's the difference in the thought process where I don't know that you would have looked at me and thought I shouldn't do that. I think you would have looked at me and your heart would have been aching to try to help me because you know that's not how like I would want to behave or that that's not normal. Like and so
Or that I don't think is the right thing, but I
yeah.
don't have to make it you're bad or wrong. I think that it's also about, I saw you did a post about first, second, and third position.
Oh, yeah.
And, again, is it about stepping in to second position and looking back and just noticing, what would that be like? Or I think it's a decision. I think it's a decision that you want to help the person. And we don't help people by telling them they're wrong or bad. I
Yeah.
don't think that's the way.
Hmm. So if you were to think of mother-daughter relationships and how blessed we are, and we know that there are people who have, who aren't as blessed in that way. Do you have any like words of wisdom or anything at all that you could share that you think could help that listener right now?
I mean, the only thing I can say honestly is how they're viewing what's going on. So they're viewing the action, but maybe they could wonder, gosh, what's happening for my daughter that she's feeling like that, or doesn't know how to deal with it. It's just beyond, being able to deal with it in a kind, loving way. I know she's loving and I know she's kind, and this isn't, like her. Like, what can you make up that will allow you as the mother to view your adult daughter in a different way?
Hmm.
I mean,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. I
No, like I wondered, so can you think of a time, and I know you don't ever hold on to things, so you might not be able to, but can you think of a time where I would have hurt your feelings?
off the top of my
No?
head, no, and I don't know that, I can't think honestly.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just wondering because um I guess at the end of the day it always goes down to so like I'm thinking about, a mom whose feelings are hurt by their daughter's actions.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a lot of that too. It's like the daughters are off living their life and whether it's spending time with them, not spending time with them, being short with them or snappy. Like, I mean, kids can be jerks to their moms. That's just the truth because it's like the comfiest, easiest place to do that. And I don't know that that ever really changes. Like, there's a dynamic there. Um, but one of the things I know about you as well is like, if I were to ever do something that hurt your feelings, I know that, again, it comes back to like, you know me and you know who I am. And so I'm thinking, don't take it personally. Like you would do whatever, but I don't think you would like hold on to being angry with me or upset with me because you know who I am. And if I think about like my girls, you know, and like Julia being 19, almost, 20, she's still sort of in it where she can be snappy at me and whatever. Um, but I don't take it personally and hold it against her and think she's mean to me. I too think like what's going on inside of her that has her feeling that way. And I wish she would feel more at peace and happy. And so that then she wouldn't be snappy like that. So there's something in your belief system and my belief system around how we view our daughters, um, that when the behavior isn't what we would want or whatever that might be, we seem to naturally go to like wanting to support them and knowing that if they felt different, they would behave differently. I don't think I'm articulating this properly.
No, I think so. I mean, again, so So what just came to me is remembering that we're always a model. Like, doesn't matter how old
Yeah.
the child is, we as the adult are a model for that child.
Yeah. Even
So
at when your child is almost 52.
that's right. Exactly. I
Yeah.
mean, I can't expect you to be anything that I'm not, or that
Yeah.
I'm not towards you. Like, how can I?
Yeah.
So, what can each, and it doesn't make the mother wrong, by the way. I'm not
Yeah.
meaning that the parent is wrong,
Yeah.
but if we're looking to make things good or better, then these are just things to consider. So,
Yeah.
what can I do inside of myself that will allow me to have more compassion or be a different example? So, so if I don't like the way, let's pretend if I didn't like the way you treated one of the girls because you were laying into them and not kind to them, and then I laid into you,
Yeah.
it's like, how can I think that
Yeah.
is going to help you with the girls?
Hmm.
Like, maybe there's something in that.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like what we know and we say all the time, the only person we can control is ourselves. So we can't control what our kids do. We can't control, the other piece of it is I believe, and I think you have, well, I know you have the same belief, but I don't know that we've talked about it like from the perspective of you thinking about it, me and my life, but I believe that the girls have their own journey and their own learnings and their own path that was predetermined prior to me and I have no control over. So I don't feel like I came here to control their life. I think they have their own path and their own journey. And so that allows me to let them live their life without me thinking that I need to continually tell them what I think they should be doing and, how they should be living their life. I want to do that when they come to me and ask me, but I don't want to be spewing that onto them because I think they have a path and a journey and learnings and all of that kind of stuff that they're here to learn that has nothing to do with me. It's I think parents think we can control the outcome of our kids' lives, and I think the reality is we can't.
No. And you made me just think of something too. Like, we can look at the level of behavior. So if we look at logical levels,
Okay.
we can look at the level of behavior and just respond to behavior, which is way down the ladder. Or we can look at a higher level, like, what are the values that I can support my kids with? What example can I be at that level of beliefs and values and
Identity.
versus behavior?
Hmm.
And I think that if you can move to that level, that's going to make a big difference as well. Kind of goes with that modeling piece. And,
Yeah.
I can't yell at you and then expect you not to yell at your kids. You
Yeah.
know, I can't say, even if it's I think it's the best, I can't say unkind things to you and expect you to not say unkind things to other people.
That's right.
So,
And when I think of, there's a few moms that I'm thinking of right now, and I don't know that any of them are like unkind or do anything like that. I think it's there's like a yearning for the relationship to have more ease and, but they don't know how to do that?
but can they view their daughters in a different way?
Yeah.
Can they kind of rise above the behavior? So if we think of behavior as way down here, right? And it's just, but if they can rise above that and look at in their heart and, know that their daughter is a beautiful, being, and what could you do to support them? That's different than telling them not to do something or that they have to do something.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't have clarity on how we can best support women. Hopefully, this is, for anybody who listens that is, does have a mother-daughter, but I do think it's something that we should look at exploring how we can support mother daughters because it is such a beautiful relationship and it can be such a challenging relationship. Again, we don't have that experience. So I'm so blessed, but I've talked to enough people, enough women, to know that we are really, really blessed.
So we need to do something to support. But
Yeah,
I don't think it's just a quick fix in a way. It's
yeah,
like really shifting something within
yeah,
on both levels, on the adult daughter and on the parent.
yeah,
Maybe it's you start with the parent but something has to change internally if they aren't getting the results they want. So it's like
yeah,
everything we say. So what exactly are you doing to get the results that you don't want?
yeah,
Because we have to change what we're doing if we want a different result. So if I don't
yeah,
like how somebody's responding to me, perhaps I could consider how I'm interacting with them to perhaps get a different response.
yeah.
I mean, it's not as easy with this conversation to generalize. That's what
Yeah.
I'm feeling.
Yeah, I agree with you. And without me going into specifics of different personal stories, which I don't want to do
Exactly.
here,
Yeah.
so that we could dive in deeper. I mean, I think hopefully the generalizations that we have made, I mean, really it's shifting the way they're thinking about their daughter so that they can have a different feeling about their daughter's behavior and therefore their response to their daughter's behavior will be different. That could be like across the board when I think of the scenarios.
Mhm.
Um, Yeah, we're just so
And asking
blessed.
the question, how can I support?
Yeah. Because if you're seeing a behavior that you don't like, there's something going on for your daughter to create that behavior. So thinking at that level instead of thinking of the behavior and judging the behavior or being hurt by the behavior or not liking the behavior, it's being really curious about what could be going on for her that would create that behavior and then how can I best support her with that. And again, it's not making her right and you wrong, but it's like the only person we can control is ourselves. And so the women that I'm talking to are the moms, not the daughters. And so that's who we're, talking about supporting.
And how can I be the best example of what I'd like to support my daughter in being,
Yeah.
you know? And that's not going to always be easy, but then that's where the work comes in. So we
Yeah.
each have to do our own personal work, even though they might be beautiful, wonderful people. Life throws things. And yeah, I mean, I think it is about being the best example you can be. And
Yeah.
doesn't mean every moment of every day you're this
Yeah.
perfect person.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just means somewhere inside of you, that's your outcome, that's your purpose, that's who you want to be. Even if you don't know exactly how to be that right this moment, how can you think differently about whatever's going on in a supportive, positive way instead of a don't do that?
Yeah. I mean, I just know in that I have never felt judged by you. I've never felt like you think I should do it different. I've never felt like bad or wrong with anything that I've done. And I know I've done things that, like I can't think of examples, but I just know I haven't done everything perfectly at all. And so I think that that is a huge, as a daughter, I think that's a huge thing that you've gifted me is that I never, not through any of my parenting, whether I sleep trained or not, or they slept in my bed or not, or like whatever, I just never, ever, ever felt judged by you, ever.
Yeah. And again, I can think of, as you say things, there's things like I maybe wouldn't have done it that way,
Yeah,
but I never felt it was up to me to say you shouldn't do something that way.
yeah,
So, maybe the first piece really is just looking at, you know, who do I want to be that can support my daughter
hmm
in being who I know she is in her heart and soul, but perhaps not really.
Expressing it in the moment.
Exactly. Yes. Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe. I mean, it's playing, I mean, it's kind of like what we talked about for so long before we got on this call. It's playing mind games with yourself,
yeah,
good mind games,
yeah,
not mind games that make you feel bad or judge people or whatever. It's playing positive mind games. What can I think that will allow me to feel good? Therefore, I'm going to be a better person and be able to support other people if I, take care
yeah.
of my thoughts.
And above all of that is the deep desire to have a beautiful relationship with your daughter.
Yes. And going back to deciding, I was there for you guys,
Yeah,
and you're there for your girls as well.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
and even I think Julia and Maddie, I think they know I'm here. Well, they've
They
called
do.
me,
Mhm.
when they couldn't get you, they'd call me.
Yeah.
So again, it definitely plays out beyond,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. 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 And Maddie was just here and saying, I hope you know when I have a baby, like I want you to come and move in with me. And Joseph agrees for like 3 weeks to help. It's like how lucky am I?
Yeah.
And I'm like, just because you told me that, you don't need to you don't need to do that. When it actually happens, you can change your mind. It's fine. Like, because I will always want them to do what works best for them, you know? And that is, I think, what you've taught me is you always want me to do what's best for me, whether it's what you would do or not. And I always want them to do what's best for them, whether it is what I would do or not.
Exactly. And I was just thinking, see, there could be a parent that if their daughter said that to them, they would think, oh my God, there's no way I'm going for 3 weeks to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Where I'm
if,
like, oh my gosh, how lucky am I?
I know. I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So I think all these things, it's looking at all these things. And I don't know, we've talked about it before, but maybe we do have to do a mother-daughter retreat and
Yeah.
just really help people reconnect to the love that is there within them,
Yeah.
but we need to do it here, not just here, right? We
Yeah.
have to do
Yeah.
it
And
in
I think
both places.
there's something about it, and then I think we should close off. But
Sure.
I think there's something about it that is our role as a mom shifts at some point, and I don't know that everybody shifts it.
Yeah.
I really do. I think that it shifts. And if you don't shift with it, then you're holding on and parenting in the same way you did when they were like little kids and you did have that control, but you don't. And that can create friction as well.
Hmm.
So, anyways, okay. Well,
Okay.
I love you. Thank you for being the best mama in the whole world.
Thank you for being the best daughter.
Okay. We'll see you on Thursday.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Yay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I love
Okay.
you.
Okay. Love you. Bye.
Okay. Bye.